Everybody, welcome to the ITGS committee. My name is John Lee, council member of 12th District. I'm joined by Monica Rodriguez of the 7th District and council member Bob Blumenfield from the 3rd District. I'd like to start this meeting by opening with public comment. First on the list, Antonia Ramirez. Okay. Herman?
Yeah, what a great presentations for those veterans. But the long habits of abuse, fraud are what I'm here to talk about. City corruption. City corruption, that's not the one. Here's the one. Mommy Rodriguez, building and safety. After all, what you've done in the influence of humanitarian platform, let me underscore this, that the online portal for development projects is fucked up. Ask Bob Bloomfield, he'll tell you. And as long as the Department of Building and Safety, well, at the time, let me reframe that and go back. When David Adelman was using roofie drugs to fuck his staff, we, the public, are getting fucked by the assistance relevant of these departments to report lies on the overview of status. As you heard, Wesson III, Justin, fucked by developers to live rent-free while the rest of those fucking veterans sleep on the streets in their cars and vans. Fucked up. 42 USC 12101. And then again, let me go back to the discredit of what Mommy Nuri said past Friday as she incited blacks and browns to fight for free speech.
What matter are you speaking of?
It's a matter of all these topics, sir, like in CD 14, item 7, fuck Jose Huizar, for the record. And as I continue in CD 11, where God hates homosexuals. Let me just go to my general public.
Okay, time for your general.
Insidious scheme, get over it, they said in Washington, with harmful effects, the experience of being homeless, the influence of being homeless, of that of the corruption disease of Los Angeles, and its fucked up long habits of their mayor who have abused fraud, waste, and gutted state and local dollars.
Please keep your general comments to the
We should
jurisdiction
all
of this
be
committee. This is your final warning,
of
please.
corporate greed. LA is a corporate greed, a municipal corporate greed. And I can state that for the record because 42 U.S.C. 1983, 14th Amendment, the 4th Amendment, the 5th Amendment, and the right, as Donald Trump would say, the right to bear arms and say, fuck you, for the record, Mr. Lee. You don't give shit about people, asshole.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. I'd like to call up Mr. Previn, who wants to speak on item 1 through 7, plus public comment. You have 3 minutes, Mr. Previn.
Thank you. It is Eric Previn from CD2. I'm a resident of Studio City, Government Affairs Committee Chair of the Neighborhood Council. This is the Information Technology and Services Committee, and you meet on 1 p.m. regularly on every other Wednesday or something. And the issue that has arisen is, today you have on your agenda some very interesting items. The construction report. You've got, these are important items in my opinion. Sales of city property we have. We have a building and safety, fairly pernicious look at, well, no, the Build LA looks like an interesting area. I have some things to say about building and safety, but out at the Civic Center in Van Nuys, you want to look about ways to get rid of the shelter that evidently people sleep under at night. It's a very sad state of affairs where even where people are taking, where it'd be like, say, hey, let's take down the underpass. Is it possible to take down that underpass where those people are? I don't know. I worry about some of these issues. And I remember in this very committee, it was the great ONI, O-N-N-I, developer with multiple projects before the city and this committee, shunting the Office of Finance into a great lease across the street at the Times building that they took over. And Greg Smith, your predecessor and grandpa, made it very clear that he was not going to take any comments on the item because he'd called my name early. Now, what comes up in this City Hall context is that committees is the spot where you encourage public comment because you deny it. Today, there were not one item on the agenda at City Hall where you could speak, except for general public comment. The reason for that is pernicious, and I can only guess at why a community that benefits from civic engagement and participation, Ms. Rodriguez, you're looking at your phone? Are you scrolling through your phone during this? It's unbelievable. In any event, having 3 meetings at 1 p.m. creates a situation where in the last 2 sessions of this meeting, you often call, are there any people here from the public? No. Great, then the meeting's closed, and I'll make that public so that everybody can see that. What it does is it denies meaningfully any opportunity to comment on these significant, relevant items to our city before or during consideration, which is a big Brown Act problem. So, I'm a guy who has a little bit of a track record with the Brown Act, and I bring it up because I don't want to challenge you, but I want you to change it. I want you to make an accommodation so that people who are here for 3 1 p.m. meetings, because there's items of interest, are not shut out like you do routinely and ritually. In conclusion, am I my general public comment, or you just merge them together? Okay, well, then I'm just going to go. There's a woman named Elizabeth Greenwood. She was on the Lacera. She's a city attorney. She works with Hong and Fauble and Mr. Fuhr. She is claiming that a flea bite has caused her $5 million in damages. Janice Hahn at County Hall just promoted her to the investment board. This woman should be frog-marched out of the building, okay? She is a liar. She has no evidence of that, and I don't want Herb Wesson and you to settle a $5 million lawsuit with the city attorney who represents the employees who are ripping off the public by denying rights under the Brown Act. So thank you, and have a great day.
Corey Schmidt. Speaking on items 1 through 8, and general public comment. You have 3 minutes.
So I wanted to thank you guys for having the meeting more than 5 seconds this time, so I could make it. I was just a little appalled last time because I know what happened was I went over to the neighborhood and parks meeting, and I'm sure everything was taken on consent. So I know that's how we fly through these things. So I'm just glad that you're here and that we can speak and stuff. So, because like Previn was saying, the whole 1 p.m., all of them at the same time is, I don't see how it's reasonable to think that that's allowing people the opportunity to comment. If you got to run from one meeting to the other and, it's closed already, so, to get to the actual items, I see that you guys want to remove the shade. I'm sorry for bringing some today, but I think that it's due that we speak on these things. So let me see, what else was there that I wanted to speak on? There's a lot that needs to be talked about. I think that the item for Mesa Street is right. I think that there's a lot of evidence for it actually being correct. So I'm not sure if you guys know or not, but I do. Maybe I will get into the general public comment. I think it might be lumped together. I know that I now know that this is the meeting that all of the budget stuff is coming from for the technology stuff, the 5G. And I understand that it's a new leap that everybody wants to get into. And I've never had an issue with like the new technology, but with the problems that come with it, I just really I want us to be careful. I want us to be cautious and be setting safeguards for ourselves for misuse or maluse, because it can be very dangerous technology. I mean, we've talked about it before. It's literally the stuff in your kitchen. You put a piece of metal in there, the metal catch on fire. It's like, you know what I mean? If we're putting these microwave transmitters up on light poles, we got to be very careful what we're doing. You know what I mean? I think we should do some testing first before we, you know what I mean? Like maybe designate it to the streets, because that's the whole point is we want autonomous vehicles. So let's test it in the streets first and see the effects of it and all of that, you know, block it from the homes and all of that. I don't know. I'm just saying just some protections. That's all I want to see. Or meters, something to red tape, you know.
Thank you, Corey. Wayne from Encino. Speaking of items 1 through 8 plus public comment. You have 3 minutes.
สวัสดีค่ะแล้วก็ finally I get to meeting for sneaky Asian John Lee. He always hide this meeting from me, from fucking sneaky man. So sneaky man have other issue. Now I go over to sneaky man to very nice. Number 2, motion for a big fat Nori Martinez to take out the shade pergola. Pergola is very small. Nori ass get much too big now. Cannot fit under the pergola. So she have to take down infrastructure to build, to demolish, to shade infrastructure. Infrastructure for a big fat ass like Nori. Infrastructure for little nigger. Infrastructure for little people. Very good. I support it's good. Now, new 10-year lease for what? LA Dot. This is wrong oil company, go to Dot. No, you must go to Faggot Bonnen over there in room 1010. Now I call up the meeting for this. I insist. Number 3, be submitted to transportation. I call up right now to number 3. Hello, Mike Bonnen. Yes. Yes, Mike Bonnen, I want you to take number 3. Okay, I'm busy with my boyfriend, but just know that John Lee and his sexy little ass can come over and give me number 3 because number 3 was agendized illegally. And I told the city attorney that since it's an LA Dot issue, it's under the jurisdiction of the Transportation Committee. And I know that I'm doing this because Thrifty Oil Company is a major campaign donor to John Lee because they're funneling money to him through his advisors and also to the Aliso people so that he can get all the money and poison all the black people in South Central Los Angeles. And while he lives in a pretty little house in the 12th district, everybody gets a fucking dies of all the toxicity of Thrifty Oil Company, the murderers that we are giving property to. This is ridiculous, but I regress. Now, we go back to number 15, Council District. Dirty, filthy, Puskai, Ino, Cop, Prick, surplus asset. What is asset? Surplus asset. Give me for $1. $1. What do we buy? Oh, look! Potential sale of parcel for $1. What do you say? I say, give me $1. Okay, right now I try to find $1. What $? Hold on. Yes, I got $1. All right, I buy parcel there, sold. Okay, now we get to other item, but only 6 seconds left. Bullshit. So now we go to general comment. General comment now will begin. Now.
No.
What? No. He said 3-minute general item.
No.
No.
With public comment. All right, next. Next, Mike Greenspan. Speak. Item number.
I said $1 for record.
Is it- Okay.
Please don't disrupt the meeting.
Can I submit $1? Let me see. How do I get parcel without $1?
Antonio Ramirez.
I offer $1.
You have. Speaking on items 1 through 8.
Thank you
plus a
very
minute
much.
For public comment.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, I see a lot of construction work all over the city, yet we still have over 65,000 homeless people in LA County. And we are still homeless, like myself and my dear friend Herman. We are homeless, like many others, including our beloved military veterans. What a shame. This is nothing more than a sham. Item number 2, you need to demolish all of Van Nuys and the San Fernando Valley. Hell, it's a toxic urban blight and gang infested. Number 3, The Department of General Services are mostly all Latino Chango gangbangers, and they roam in those golf carts at 100 miles per hour, knocking patrons, tourists, visitors, and all human beings onto the oncoming traffic. You need to put a lid on those idiots. Number 4, hire military veterans, by the way. Number 4, the Tenant Improvement Project is a gang and wetback third world class ghetto who are nothing more than run by the ACLU. This project, this tenant improvement project, is nothing more than a kike faggot ACLU run program. No law-abiding American citizens are allowed to participate in these American tenant programs because we don't think like them. We're not liberals. And number 6, you will never update Build LA, whether on paper or in reality, not until you enforce the rule of law and demand public safety protection, first and foremost for city residents. And number 8, you say present an ordinance authorizing the grant and the revocable easement for term of no less than 10 years. Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, you can't, you need due process rights. The public needs to participate and put their input in. Democracy must stand, and we owe that to all residents, whether they agree or not agree. We can't just consent on every item. We need to have input on anything and everything. And having said that, I'd like to go ahead to public comments. Ladies and gentlemen, I have problems with general services there, particularly the ones that work at La Placita Alvera Street. They run with a golf cart over 100 miles per hour, back and forth between first the Catholic Church, La Reina de Los Angeles, located at 535 North Main Street, Los Angeles, California, 90012 in Olvera Street, and secondly, they go back and forth to La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, located at 501 North Main Street, Los Angeles, California, 90012. This is nothing more than 2 criminal enterprises. Yes, the Catholic Church is criminally involved with the gangbangers and the wetbacks and the criminal thugs at La Placita, including La Plaza de Cultura, run by Walter and his henchman, Alonso, Securitas outfit. This is nothing more than a criminal empire that runs with Skid Row, and they make their money off of the goddamn drugs. God bless America. Bust their motherfucking asses and shut that Catholic Church down. God bless America. I live there.
Is there a red chief here? No? Mike Greenspan, one last time. Okay, I'd like to close public comment. And if it's okay with the other members of the committee, I'd like to take items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on consent. Okay. So those items are on consent. And item number 1, second construction project report.
Mr. Chair, would you like me to read the item? Item number 1 is a City Administrative Officer report relative to the fiscal year 2019-20 second construction project report. This matter has also been referred to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Good afternoon, Chairman Lee and committee members. Daisy Bonilla representing the CAO. Before you is the second 2019-20 construction project report. This report recommends a total of $22.5 million in transfers and appropriations for previously authorized construction projects. Of this amount, $9.7 million is for the General Services Department, $2.9 is for Public Works, Bureau of Street Lighting, and $9.9 million is transferred to other city funds. There are no known impacts to the general fund in the connection with the authorized projects covered in this report. Any potential increases in operations and maintenance costs associated with any projects would be addressed through the city budget process as the projects are completed. We have various representatives in attendance today to address specific projects, questions you may have. Thank you.
Let's see, members. First, the only question, I see that the Oak Ridge Estate roof repairs is on the agenda again, and if I was reading over the first construction CPR report, is there a reason why it's on it again? Is it just that we haven't spent the money?
initial report was creating the appropriation that happened in 2018-19. In the first CPR, we just reappropriated the funds to make them available. At the end of last fiscal year, they were swept. And so we just reappropriated the funds back into the project account. and now we're transferring the funding to Rec and Park so they can begin the construction.
Okay. And as far as the LA River, the item number A, San Fernando Valley Completion Project, are there any other available funds to do this, extend this project along other river walkways to create other walkways?
Hold on one second.
Good afternoon, Bernice Holland, CAO. The question is whether or not there's additional money.
Additional funds, yeah, for projects like this, if there are just additional funds that we apply to, apologize, I'm fairly new to the council, so.
No problem. And then meanwhile, we can do a briefing for your office just on our ongoing capital program. But we do not have any identified funding at this time specific to the LA River. Usually with projects, we combine various grant opportunities. We always use CIP, our own general fund, as a source of last recourse. But we can work with you on specific interests. I know that there is a Proposition K project still remaining. That's for, that project was a three-phase project, and so there's still a portion of the of that that's still under development. I'm not sure on which segment, but it was developed in three segments, and I know we're finishing off the second, and then we're going to implement the third. So maybe a portion of that might address the area that you're interested in, but we'll do a circle back on this and just follow up on it all the same. Whether
Propo.
Proposition K, LA for Kids Steering Committee that funds recreational programs.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that, I move to approve item number 1. All those in favor? Aye. No objections. That item is approved. Item number 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item number 8 is a motion, Bonin Buscaino, relative to requesting that the city attorney prepare and present an ordinance authorizing the grant of a revocable easement for use of the vacant city-owned lots located at 412 through 418 Paseo Miramar and related matters.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chad Molnar, Chief of Staff to Council District 11. Hello, Chad.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for your time. I'm here to speak on item 8. The item for you today is a great example of neighbors working together with the city to improve and maintain a public asset for the benefit of the public. The city property in question has remained idle and dilapidated and an eyesore for the community for a number of years due to various issues related to its slope and geology. Several years ago, the neighbors approached our office to see if they could get some help, and this item is a result of that effort. Under this agreement between the neighbors, MRCA, and the city, MRCA will clean up and improve the property in a manner that meets the needs of the city, including making landscaping improvements. It's a great win-win partnership and delivers on a promise that Councilmember Bonin made to his constituents in this neighborhood. I believe you have some amendments in front of you. The item enjoys broad support among the neighbors, has been agreed to by all relevant departments, and Councilman Bonin asks for your support to approve it along with the proposed amendments that are in front of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. Michael Jimenez.
Just here to answer questions.
Okay, so with that, I'd like to amend the first moving clause of the motion so that BOE and GST can review the landscape plans for the proposed easement before granting it. The first moving clause should read, request the city attorney with the assistance of General Services and the Bureau of Engineering prepare and present an ordinance which would authorize the grant of a revocable easement to the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority for the use of 4 vacant city-owned lots located at and around 412 and 418 Paso Miramar in Pacific Palisades with the following conditions. The grant of this revocable easement shall be contingent upon the submission of a landscaping and maintenance plan by the applicant and approval of this plan by the Bureau of Engineering and Department of General Services. And 2, the term of this revocable easement shall be for a period of 10 years, renewable for successive 10-year increments at city's discretion upon MRCA's written request, subject to the city's revocation at any time in the term and in the city's sole discretion. Mr. Jimenez? Sound good? All right. With that being said, I'd like to move and approve item number 8. Any objections? Seeing no objections, approved item number 8. Seeing as that is the last
That clears
motion?
the desk.
That concludes the ITGS committee. Thank you very much for joining us today.